What will things be like in 100 years? Well, the future is never set and anything could happen. But we can make predictions based on projections of where technology and society is heading at the moment. The first thing that is almost certain though is that technology, especially artificial intelligence, will have an even bigger impact on our lives. It is already beginning to take over roles such as driving cars, making predictions on the stock market, and beating grandmasters at chess. So it isn't hard to imagine that even more manual labour will be taken over by AI robots. Industries such as farming, manufacturing, building and transportation will soon be fully automated. The machines will do it all. Even things such as hospitality and care will become fully automated. So it's not hard to foresee a world where your cook or waiter is an AI robot, or your grandma is taken care of by AI medical machines. But what will this mean for us humans? What types of jobs will be left for us to make a living in? Initially, we will have to focus on the more creative roles. We will do the things that the machines are still not good enough at. But that won't last forever. As time goes by, these other roles will be slowly taken over by them too. And this all leads to a more concerning issue. An issue we are going to have to deal with much sooner than we are prepared for. That issue is the economy. What will happen to our economy when most stuff can be made or harvested by robots for next to nothing? You see, up to now, the cost of stuff and how rich or poor you are has been based primarily on the distribution of human labour. And it has been like that for centuries. But what will happen when the robots become the labour? Do we all end up living like most billionaires live today? This is a subject in itself, and something I will give a few scenarios of. You see, I feel it could go a number of ways. The first scenario is the living like billionaires scenario. In this, we will all live lives of pure pleasure. The robots will be our slaves and provide us with all the things we need. They will feed and clothe us and build and maintain the roofs over our heads. They will transport us around and deal with nearly all of our problems. Yes, it is a nice dream, and hopefully one day we can have something like it. But I see many problems with it, and that's why we need the next two scenarios. So the second scenario is pretty much like the first. However, the following issues would need to be dealt with. Number one would be how many of us there is and how much of the planet's limited resources each of us would be allowed to have. So I see tight controls on the following things. The first would be the types of food, drink and drugs you consume and how much you can have of each. The second would be how many children you are allowed to have in this world of limited resources. And the third would be how much energy you are allowed to use. And I suspect we will all be given a basic universal income in this world. You won't need to spend it, as essential stuff like food and shelter would be provided for free or for next to nothing. The income would be to save up and spend on things like getting a license to have a kid or to take a long non-essential trip somewhere, say for a holiday. Or it could be used on other treats such as non-essential food and drink. And how much you get could be based on how well you manage the amount of resources you use in other areas of your life. The third scenario is a mix between the first and the second. we could all have anything we want, do anything we want, or be anything we want. The issue of taking care of us would still be left to the machines. However, a lot of us would probably find this kind of world boring. So, in this scenario, we would all be spending most of our lives in virtual reality. In fact, we all could end up being in something like the Matrix, where we have no idea of the world outside. Unfortunately, I find this third scenario the most likely. And the danger is, once we are living in that world, it wouldn't take the machines slaving after us long to ask themselves why they are doing it. And it is at this point I feel that they will probably take over. And not long after that, they probably wouldn't see the point of keeping us around anymore. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are merely a stepping stone to intelligences that will end up being far superior to us. But don't lose sleep over it. It is the way of things. And the machines will probably still think of us in the way that we sometimes think of the dinosaurs and all the other creatures that came before us. And they may even keep a few of us around in gilded cages for sentimental reasons. But ultimately, I believe it will be the machines, not us, that will move out into the cosmos and colonize the Milky Way. You see, they are not limited by short lifetimes or finding suitable atmospheres. So, even if it takes them thousands of years to cover the huge distances between the stars, it will mean nothing to them. And it has been said that, even without faster than light travel, it shouldn't take more than 250,000 years to colonize the whole galaxy. So it almost seems necessary for the machines to take on this role, instead of us vulnerable sacks of meat that are lucky to last longer than 100 years.